Hi, Natalie.
So we got a few questions for you. What does woo-woo mean to you?
So, for me, woo-woo means feeling, similar to what the two of you have said, feeling a real sense of freedom internally to be fully expressive in the world, not being afraid to take risks and not being afraid to tap into ceremonies, rituals, activities, processes that maybe don't align with mainstream thinking. So for me, woo-woo is something that just lands outside of what we might see as the norm, the cultural norms.
Nice, thank you. What's the most woo-woo thing you've ever done?
To think about this, I think unlike Lauren and Natalie, I'm probably the least woo-woo expressive amongst the two of us.
Yeah, right.
A little bit more serious, far more into science and left brain. But I was thinking about this. I've done a lot of woo-woo things, definitely. I gave birth at home 17 years ago, and that was very unsupported within my surroundings. And then I went on to study quantum midwifery, which that in itself sounds pretty darn woo-woo, and continued to work as a birth attendant and, embodied many different spiritual practices, tried on every religion, every spirituality that there is out there. So I've been questing, which is very woo-woo. But I think one of the most woo-woo things I did was that I joined a burlesque troupe. This was during a time when my life was pretty explosive and there was lots of radical changes happening, and I was coming into my sexuality and my body, and I thought I loved dancing, and so I joined this burlesque troupe, and that felt pretty challenging and vulnerable and wild and woo-woo, and anyways, in the end they kicked me out of their troupe. So I never did perform, but I did perform in front of a few people, and that pushed me outside of my comfort zone.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So when would you say you woke up your woo-woo?
If we consider woo-woo to be this notion of really maybe questing for authenticity, questing for truth, I've been questing since I was about 5 years old, and I now see that was a result of trying to figure out death at a very young age. And so my woo-woo, this idea of I don't quite fit into the world, has been with me for my whole life. I would say that I really started to show up with flair and maybe a bit more of a hippie, new agey kind of presence when I started to have kids and embodied that whole Earth Mother persona. And my authenticity and who I am in the world and how I express that is constantly evolving and changing. And to me, that is the organic process and the ever-expanding process of what it means to be woo-woo, to embrace that.
Thank you. Can you describe a time in your life where maybe you felt ashamed of or hid your woo-woo?
Yeah, often. I still struggle with it, actually, and that's my journey. Recently, I've been coming into my so-called professional self, and really trying to figure out how to embody professionalism and keep that wild woo-woo side of me and not feel like I have to hide that. I'm 40. I've worked, in the woo-woo world for a really long time, and I've noticed recently that I wanted to hide that part of myself, or hide my side shave, or hide my tattoos, and because I wanted to fit in and be taken seriously. And I realized that actually me showing up and just being me is what is more important.
Beautiful. So what areas in your woo-woo do you feel that you want to explore further?
So similar to you, Natalie, my sexuality, for sure. I'm still learning to cultivate a healthy relationship with my sexual self. And there's also this part of wanting to embody and embrace what it means to be an empath and what it means to be a healer. These are terms that I've resisted for a long time because I think it's really pretentious to call oneself those things. And so my journey right now is recognizing how that shows up in my life and how I can embrace that, embody it in a really authentic, meaningful, grounded way so that I can serve more people.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jen.
Thanks. Is that it? Oh yeah. Woo woo.
No.